So the Ohio State Buckeyes season may not have ended the way most of us wanted to see it end, but I think there's 5 things we can take away from this season as a positive. Number one being Ryan Day can coach. I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous going into the season. I don't know, maybe I just wasn't. I mean, he hasn't ever lost the game as a coach, but I wasn't really as impressed with the start from last season. But he came in this season and completely proved me wrong on that one. You look at the Michigan games, the Wisconsin games, if that did not tell you how good of a mid-game adjuster this guy is, nothing will. I was beyond impressed with those mid-game halftime adjustments. Those are where you separate the good coaches from the greats, and he proved that he can coach with the best of them this season. Very happy to see out of a first-year coach for Ohio State that this is the way he's been coaching. Number two, Justin Fields. He's going to be around for one more year. He just had an outstanding season. We talked about that one interception all season going into that Clemson game. Unheard of numbers. Played very, very well. The one thing again, when you talk about that knee, it gets healthy, he's only going to get better, but that pocket awareness, it felt like it wasn't there. Maybe it was the knee, maybe it's because he's still young, but you noticed it a couple times. You got to have that clock in your head, like click, 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 click. You've been there 7 seconds, 8 seconds. You can't take the sack, move around, make something happen. That was the one pet peeve I really noticed from him in those last few games, is he stood in the pocket a little bit too long instead of taking that running space, or, you know, if somebody wasn't open, taking the space they was giving him. But again, that could have been a knee problem. Again, besides that, the guy's been outstanding. He's going to be a Heisman candidate again next year, I can only imagine. And you got to be very happy as a Buckeye fan knowing you got him playing quarterback for one more season. Number three is the quote-unquote new offensive system that Day has brought to the Buckeyes. I mean, yeah, it's still very run-heavy, as we've seen from Dobbins this year tearing it up. But as much as I love Urban Meyer, don't get me wrong here, but his style of offense and his staple was always to get that quarterback that was a very good read option type of guy. He was a very good runner, beat the other team with the run game. And we're seeing Ryan Day showing this year, especially with Justin Fields, is he trusts that quarterback and he wants that offensive style to be a little bit, you know, a little bit of a different system here. Granted, we're still going to see a heavy run game, but he wants to see that quarterback stand in that pocket, take some chances downfield, sling the football as Justin Fields did this season. And I think that's a very, very good thing for the Buckeyes, because when you talk about that, what is he doing? He's grooming NFL-worthy quarterbacks. Now, granted, don't get me wrong. I mean, it is not near as common, minus the fact that we're going to see out of, you know, Lamar Jackson. It is very rare where these running-style quarterbacks amount to anything in the NFL. A lot of these guys, you want to be a pocket passer. That attracts those type of guys to your program, something Ohio State hasn't done in a long time. It's only going to be better for recruiting down the road, that means. At least personally, that's what I'm thinking here. It's a signal of saying, hey, great program, even better system for you now, for you to try to step your game up and become an NFL quarterback. I mean, we already seen it with the transfer in Fields in the first place here. I think that's going to help this Buckeyes program. There's already always a dominant run game, dominant defensive team. Now they're going to attract the top tier quarterbacks. You throw that on as well as what? Now they're going to throw the ball more. Let's get the great wide receivers in here as well. We'll see how those guys do. I think it's all in all, it's great. It's fantastic to see the way this team played after just one season under their new head coach here. Number four is this was one of the most dominant, complete Ohio State teams we've seen in history. I mean, sure, they didn't win. I know the way it ended the season, it leaves a salty taste in your mouth, but you have to appreciate how well this Buckeyes team was this season. I honestly still feel, obviously being a fan biased, but I feel like it was the scariest team in college football this season. Again, the way it ended, unfortunate, but there was no team with a three-headed monster quite like the Buckeyes did, as far as being defensive dominant, a quarterback that was impossible to stop, a running game that was impossible to stop. It was a scary team to play from every facet of the game, and for that reason, you have to appreciate how good this team was this season. Finally, we have, you know, the fact that these young guys did finish the season strong. There was some solid players, the D-line, the receivers. You know, you've seen Garrett Wilson. He keeps getting better. He's going to get more chances next year. You've seen Olave already leading the team in receiving yards. Is only going to get better from here on out. Going to be interesting to see that next step he can possibly take. You know, you talk about the defensive line again. Zach Harrison, strong freshman year. Javonte Jean-Baptiste. Now, again, same story as Harrison being the freshman, but he didn't play as much. But when he did play, he did get them snaps. He proved that he was a difference maker and a dynamic player. Now, again, granted, you can talk about how much he did play in ball games, but he made noise. He made noise when he was on the field, and it's promising for this future when you look at these younger guys on this team to know, you know what, that next man up mentality, it's going to be there. You have to be able to, you know, it's a continuous running system here in college ball. We're going to lose your best players. Are the younger guys good? I think the Buckeyes got some young, talented players that's going to continue to make this team good next year, the year after that. It's going to be interesting, though. I think that was a great season by the Buckeyes.